I've never met her ever. This is my first meeting, and it's always weird meeting on Zoom. But Sin, how are you? Where are you? Give me some details. What's up?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm sitting on my bathroom floor trying to make this quiet for you in Los Angeles. So stoked to be here. Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. You're originally from Detroit, right? So you've officially moved down. How long have you been in LA?
It'll be 4 years this November.
Oh, dang, you're a local at this point. What else are you working on? Because I assume you're buried in the house, quarantine, living that quarantine life. You must be just writing and recording and just going nuts because what else are you going to do?
Absolutely. Well, it's a ton. I'm working on a ton of music. We just released 5 remixes of drinks and like my mixed drinks collection. So that's available everywhere now. There's a remix for every occasion. There's like a high fashion runway remix. There's an island party remix, an 80s throwback remix, and so everything else besides all of that. Just a lot of like new music, a lot of love songs coming my way, and a lot of electric guitar vibes. Slow and very dramatic guitar. I'm really loving it, and I can't wait to share. Probably this fall I'll have another single out.
Sin, I'm not saying your fans are psycho. I just can't think of a better way to ask this question. I love, and I always have and always will love psycho fan encounters. Do you have, a good story to tell me or are all your fans just perfect?
Well, I don't even want to give satisfaction to the ones that freak me out. Let's just say there are a handful that I'm like, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't even want to give them I don't want to acknowledge it. It's scary. It can be scary. But I have so many to be thankful for. Like during quarantine, I think I became friends with probably like 20 or 30 of I've called them my sinner babes. And we have so many inside jokes, and we have like little secret language that we use on Twitter that like no one knows about. So, and even though there's some creepy ones out there, there's definitely more very supportive and funny and sweet ones. So
You have the best names. Your mixed drinks for the remixes, your sinners. That's I can't think of a better. That's perfect, right? I mean, come on now.
yeah.
Your fans are pretty awesome.
Well, the sinners actually named the mixed drinks collection. Like I was like, should it be the remix collection or should we name it the mix? Actually, somebody tweeted it to me and was like, it should be called the mixed drinks collection. And it was like one of the sinners. So they're like so involved. They actually, one of them like mocked up a bunch of my merch, and I DM'd them asking, is it okay if I can, actually make this? And I'll send you, all the merch that we end up getting made. And they were like, definitely. So they even designed my merch. It's amazing.
dude, how cool is that? I mean, even like for them, imagine them, an artist, like think of an artist you loved growing up. If they DM'd you and said, hey, can I send you some free stuff for using your art? You'd be like, oh my God, of course. Quick question about drinks. It was inspired by a real argument with your ex. Tell that story because it sounds like I need to know this thing.
Honestly, I don't remember what we were talking about, and I'm kind of glad. Like, I can't remember the details because it was so stupid. But I remember just like texting Alexa and being like, "Can we please get drinks?" And she said yes. And so we met at this spot in Hollywood and on Melrose, and we were having spicy margaritas, and she knew the bartender, so all the drinks were free. And then on the way home, I was working with JP Clark and Ryan Daly the next day. And I wrote them in our group chat and I was like, I have a hook. He got mad, so I got drinks. And I don't think they realized then, like, it was going to be an epic song. But I kind of had a feeling. I knew if we could, like, pull it off, it would be so cool. And JP really came in and helped me get the structure of those verses. I think also he does a really good job at helping me balance out like my femininity with this masculine energy as well. I don't go full girly in that song. I think that there are some harder moments, if I can say that. And Ryan created the track for me, especially for the idea. So it was a big collaboration, and thank God all the details aligned.
Sometimes I've always said this. Sometimes, a bad moment turns into a great track. So if you could have more arguments like that, you'd be set for, a couple of albums for sure.
Oh,
Sin,
you know
right?
what they say, new album, new boyfriend. No, I'm just
That-
kidding.
right? Send that line. I got to say it again. New
Oh
album,
God.
new boyfriend. I've never heard that
Oh
line.
God.
That should be the title of your next album or something.
Oh my God. Well, it's just a real fun catchphrase that I made up. And listen, I say it for comedic value. I don't want to live my life that way. I want to have meaningful, lasting relationships. But if I don't, I get to write great songs. So I mean, I can write great songs with the same boyfriend. I mean, I hope. I'm rambling now, but
We'll
you see what
see.
I'm
We'll
saying?
see. I totally see. Pain equals
Okay.
good music, and sometimes, maybe
But
a new album, new
you
boy.
know
I don't
what?
know.
I have to say though that I think sometimes artists confuse pain with the ability to create, but I also think that like really what it is like being outside of your equilibrium. If you can be all the way ecstatic, you can write really amazing songs. If you can be all the way hurt, you write really amazing songs. It's just when you're content, that's when being creative is hard. So you don't have to be miserable. You could be really happy and really, really thankful and write something great. And so I just don't want any like young creatives to think that they have to be in pain in order to do something special because I just don't think that's true.
Fair point. How anxious are you to get back on the road at some point?
Oh my God, I never performed drinks in front of an audience. And
Really?
it's on the top 40, like at radio. Like that is the weirdest thing, isn't it? I mean, I performed it on like Zoom and Instagram Live and some live streaming stuff in general, but never in front of a crowd.
Yeah, typically right now with this song, as huge as it is, you'd be everywhere. I mean, literally, you'd be in 3 cities a day, right?
If the plan was going my way, yeah, that would be what I would want. Absolutely.
How do you think things
Crazy.
will change when you finally hit the road? If we hit the road, say late this year, early next year, I'm just throwing a date out there. It probably won't happen at that point. But do you
Yeah.
think meet and greets will change? Will the fans have to stand behind a glass to get a pic? We haven't, you know,
I mean,
it,
I would need to leave that up to the experts and what's safe. But you know what? I'm thinking like even late next year. I hope early next year, but I don't know.
we'll find out. We will find
Yeah.
out. I got a couple of true or false questions. I find these just hilarious. True or false? You always sit on the floor when you do your makeup. Standing up just doesn't work for you. You got to sit down. Is that true?
When I was growing up, I had a mirrored closet and I always sat on the floor to do my makeup. Definitely. Now I like put this mirror on the wall that like pulls out, that's like magnified. I only sit on the floor to do it because I'm blind. And usually like I don't have my contacts in. Like I need to be really close.
Okay, another true or false question. This is one of those cringers. You were born exactly 9 months to the date after your father's birthday.
Oh, dang it. It's true. Disgusting!
Ah! Oh my God.
My dad loves that, but I'm just like,
Oh, happy birthday, Dad. All right, Sam, let's do this track, Drinks. What else do people need to know about drinks?
well, I want people to take away from drinks the overarching theme, which I think is to not stew or dwell on something that's upset you. It's not so much about getting drunk, having drinks. It's about being with your friend and not letting some BS situation get you down. Just move on. And, if you believe you're in the right, stay true to you and don't walk around in circles worried about what he thinks. You know what I'm saying?
Sin, two-part question. Biggest crowd you've ever performed for, and the complete flip of that, have you ever been booed?
Mm. Biggest crowd I ever performed for, I played a show with Katie in front of 40,000 people, maybe. I opened for her. So maybe like not everybody was there yet, but it was in the stadium and it was nuts. And I just love those ones because everyone's so far away. You can do whatever you want and like they can't touch you. And haven't ever been booed. No, I haven't ever been booed, but I definitely have had people in the front row. I do a lot of opening slots. There'll be people in the front row literally looking so miserable. and I'll walk up to them and I'll be like, smile, and they'll be
Oh
like they
my God.
won't even like engage with me, and I'm like, it's such a weird feeling.
That one thing you said was, when you're in front of, 40,000 people, they can't touch you. But a smaller crowd, I'm the same way. Like if I'm in front of a giant crowd, my heart rate it rarely goes up. But if I have
Yeah.
to, hey JoJo, go speak at a kindergarten class. Oh
I'm
my
the
God.
same. Talking in front of children is so much more nerve-wracking than performing in front of a bunch of adults. Let's be honest.
I have no idea why that is, but you and I in the same boat on that for sure.
Well,
Sin.
that's because the children are the future.
That's true. And they scare me. They do. You were assigned to the label. You were signed to Katy Perry's label, which is, I've known her forever. I mean, since the I Kissed a Girl days, and we've done probably 40 interviews, probably more over the years.
Wow.
Love her. Just talked to her a couple of weeks ago. You met Katy in 2011. You signed to her label, I think, in 2017. Just walk me through all that, because that's a big deal. Meeting somebody you're a big fan of, then working with them. I mean, that's got to be
Hmm.
quite the arc.
Hmm. Well, actually, we didn't meet until I signed to her label. I just met one of her friends on the internet. Like, it was when Twitter kind of just started popping off.
Oh, so you
And
hadn't met her that early.
no, no, I
Gotcha.
hadn't. And I didn't really I wasn't thinking, I connected with her opening DJ Skeet Skeet on Twitter. And I didn't ask to meet Katie. Why would I, like in my mind, I'm like, I want to be Katie. It'd be cool to be your friend, but like, what, I want
Right.
to be my own artist. So I wasn't thinking like, get me in to be Katie. I'm going to be Katie's best friend and that'll make a difference. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. You need to work on your craft and you need to just meet the right people, the right collaborators. But then when she, ironically enough, at the year I'm graduating college, she's founding a record label. And so after harnessing a relationship with one of her friends, I just had sent him demos for like 3 or 4 years. And eventually he was like, wow, this is really great. And he had a joint venture with a publishing company. We were talking about me just signing as a songwriter. And I think he sent my music to Katie and was like, what do you think of this girl? And she was like, oh, I think I want to sign her as an artist. And that's when I met Katie. So she invited me to her house and I played some songs on the piano. And she looks at everything I'm doing, but I have so much freedom. All of the concepts are mine. She's not babysitting my art in any way. She's just making sure that I'm coming through clear and authentically, and she gives me the best advice. So I'm so thankful for the situation, and I just feel like I'm on the best label for me, which is so important.
And the one piece of advice she gave you, which I kept seeing on different sites and different places, the one piece of advice she gave you about writing for your friends in Detroit, not for the
Hmm.
Hollywood life. I mean,
Hmm.
elaborate on that, because I think that's just spectacular advice.
It is. I think in what she means by that is right for the people who have yet to come out of, you know, maybe their situation. A lot of people in Hollywood, like, they're getting close to the finish line, maybe. You know what I mean? I want to inspire people who have yet to take that leap of faith, and I want to make them think it's possible. And those are the people that I mean, I want to talk to everybody and I want to make everybody feel good. But those are the people that, just for personal reasons, my own story, like, I care about inspiring them and helping them feel like anything is possible, And so she reminded me of that a couple times when I was going to the club every other night.
Amen. Right. Sin, you probably don't know this about me. I am obsessed with the paranormal, ghost, UFOs, all that stuff. I've got a podcast called
Wow.
Paranormalish. I am clearly off the deep end. I've
Dude, that's
lost it.
cool.
You've had a paranormal encounter, right?
Hmm.
What happened?
I've had a few.
Give me a crazy one.
Well, I actually have this really, really special song that's not released yet. It's called Supernatural. And I'll try to say the story as quickly as I can so I don't take up too much time. But I was working at Max Martin's studio with a producer named Johan, and we were sitting in this room. And it used to be either Frank Sinatra's bedroom or Marilyn Monroe's bedroom, just like a really cool historical building. And there's been like weird energies there. Things move, things get knocked over, that kind of stuff. And he's explaining to me how he feels like um, this is his second time around. He was a musician in another life. that kind of thing. And he's like, are you spiritual? And I was like, yeah, my dad actually, I mean, listen, my dad experiments with some things. So, you know, I have to trust my dad, but this is what my dad thinks. He thinks I have a guardian angel because he has seen it when I was born or something. That's
Wow.
what my dad says. Yeah. So as I'm like telling Johan this in the studio, there's like this trap door in the room where like Frank Sinatra used to like sneak up into Marilyn's bedroom or something because they were having an affair. And the trap door like moves as I'm saying this. And like this blur of light goes by my face. And I'm like, we look at each other and we're like, did you see that? And he's like, yes, I saw that. Then the story gets crazier, okay? I'm in an Uber the next day and I call my dad. I'm on my way back to the studio and I call my dad and I'm like, Dad, this happened to me. Like, isn't this so crazy? Blah, blah, blah. And then by the time we get to, which by the way, the studio's on Cynthia Street.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we get to the studio and I'm about to get out and the Uber driver turns around and he says, Cynthia, do you want to know what I think? And I'm like, sure. And he's like, that wasn't your guardian angel. That was the devil. And he's trying to get in touch with you. And I'm like, what? And you know, the more I think about it, let's be honest here. If there is such thing as guardian angels, why would there be any trickery involved? They would just reveal themselves to me. They're out for love. So I'm thinking like whatever it was felt a little sinister. I don't think my guardian angel would want to play any like practical jokes on me. So I felt a little strange about the whole experience, but I wrote a really, really cool song about this scenario in which the devil is trying to get in touch with me. And listen, I don't believe in the devil. Like, I'm just believe in balance, like kind of like the force, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think I'm like actually haunted or anything, but it's a really cool song. And the story and the experience had me up for like 2 weeks.
That's crazy. I need to
Right?
get you on the podcast to go through all these encounters in depth. I will say one thing. Ryan Tedder, told me a story about as a kid, he was about 7. He believes that he saw his guardian angel, and he goes through this entire story, and he sees this thing in the room next to him, light, and then this thing soared through the roof. He ran to his mom's room, told his mom whipped down a piece of paper and says, write down everything you just saw. And he's like, why? He goes, because I don't want you to talk yourself out of it. When you get older, you can always look back at this piece of paper in your 7-year-old writing, and you can see, what happened. And his mom still has that piece of paper. It's the craziest story ever. So you might not be nuts. Something's going on there. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, I listen, I work very hard for things that I have, but I do have, I believe I have a strong relationship with the universe, and, I wouldn't be surprised if something is looking out for me, but I think everybody has a chance at that, Anybody can have a guardian angel.
For sure. This is to be continued without a doubt, you guys. Sin
Dude,
is
I should
hanging
send you
out.
the song though.
Please, and I want you on the podcast to go in depth on everything. It's going to be like
I
a
would
2-hour
love to do
podcast.
that.
It would be
Oh
awesome.
goodness. Hell
Sin, weirdest place you've been asked for a selfie. I assume you've got a couple of wild ones. Usually I hear bathrooms come up a lot because I don't know
yeah.
why.
On an airplane in coach?
So they just walked up to you and said, hey, can I have a pic? And what'd you
They
do?
were sitting next to me and they knew my music, which was cool.
So you took the selfie, I assume?
Definitely. I didn't want to make the plane ride awkward.
Thank God. 3-hour flight. Somebody hates you next to you. Did you discuss your music the entire flight?
No, I put my headphones in immediately. I don't really like talking on flights anyway,
Fair enough. Of course, drinks, get on this track, or you're a bad person. I think that's safe to say. What's your family, your friends, your inner circle, what's their reaction to all the success of drinks among the other tracks you've released and everything? But what's the fam inner circle reaction to what's going on?
Well, you know what? My family, they don't know what top 40 is. So when I'm like, guess what, everyone? They're like,
top what?
Oh, cool. so can you take me on vacation yet? Like, no, not yet. But everybody's really happy. I think I've been getting a lot of text messages lately of like, my neighbor was listening to this playlist and your song came on. So I think there's been a few indications for people in my life, but that like things are working. But overall, with like my closest friends, people are saying things like, see, I told you, it's gonna keep growing. And I'm just like, hold on, don't speak too soon, pause. But everyone's so supportive, and I barely believe it, and they're believing it for me, which I'm so grateful for them.
I can imagine everybody back in Detroit going crazy. I know I've got some friends that work at Channel 955 in Detroit. Mojo, a dude named Sean Strife, he's the brand new afternoon guy out there. And one of the first things they told him when he moved to Detroit was that girl Sin is from Detroit. So there's a hometown pride thing happening, just so you know.
JoJo, I don't know if this will make the interview, but like I haven't gotten word that Channel 955 has added drinks. So
well, Channel 955.
Imagine.
I know we're not through with 2020 yet, which is crazy to think. But what has 2020 taught you so far?
Oh, man. That we have a long way to go, that we have a lot to improve on.
In what way?
I mean, well, I want to see a fairer way of life for Black Americans. I want our president to take more precautions when it comes to protecting us against this pandemic. I want to see more unity between people with differences. I want to see more patience for growth and for learning new lessons. I don't know. There's a lot to be sad about and a lot to be hopeful for, though. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like 2020 is a big wake-up call for a lot of reasons, and hopefully we learn our lesson,
Well, I'm definitely learning mine, and just talking to friends, and it's too hard to put into this interview. I have to write an essay about it.
Maybe a song,
Exactly. But I do have a lot of hope for the future, and I have a lot of hope for the younger generation. I know that they're woke AF, and they're going to make a difference. I believe that.
Amen. Sin,
hopefully I'm part of that younger generation. I'm 27. What am I talking about? I'm still part of it.
You are part of it. Come on now. You're not old like me. Sin, quick recap. Drinks is out. He got mad. So I got Drinks. Love that track. A lot of new music coming out this year. Look out for all this stuff. What else do people need to know, Sin? Tell me something.
Well, in general, if you come from a place of love, you can never go wrong. About my music, I'll probably have a new single out this fall. That's the goal. That's the aim. So thank you so much, JoJo, for having me. And it's been so much fun.
Absolutely. Can't wait to meet you in person, whenever we can do that kind of stuff,
Definitely. In the meantime, I'd love to get together and talk about some ghosts.
You will be on the podcast for sure. Oh my God, I can't wait. Sin at the end of every interview, fist bump to make it official. Hit that cam. Here we go. Boom.
Bam.